This episode of A Rays of Living delivers the third chapter of the Aladdin Carpets book called The Paths You Can Navigate. And just for those that may be new to the podcast, reminder that in this season, I will be citing a chapter from the Aladdin Carpets book once per month. Usually it will be the last podcast posting of the month. Is the cadence that we are moving along with rather. So just wanted you to know that. And the Aladdin Carpets book, you can find that on Amazon using the link in the description. And this is in lieu of having an official audiobook. So you'll always be able to come to season 3 and find those chapters. You can download them and you'll have your audio book there for you when needed. Or if, to support me, you can go and purchase the book on Amazon. And please, when you do listen and you go through the book, please go to Amazon and put a review of the book. That really, really helps. The reviews are so important. So here we go. Thank you so much for that. The Paths You Can Navigate. A wanderer is seeking nothing and heading nowhere, but a traveler has a destination and holds a sense for what they want to get out of each trip. The difference between them is the goal and the plan of action. So at this point, the creation of the carpet is in full swing, and as you weave and strengthen it, you will start to add depth to your vision. Now that you are operating in a more self-aware frame of mind and have started working on overall fitness, a sense of clarity will start to form. You will come to know your carpet's colors, its textures, patterns, density, and you will learn why each of your selections are there. But in completing your carpet, where exactly are you going? And how are you getting there? When we drive a car, we have a destination in mind, and we follow clearly defined roads and signs to get there. If we know where we are going, a map or global positioning system, aka GPS, is not used. However, if we do not know the way, we reference a map or GPS to guide us. Let me be clear. Aladdin Carpets is not asking you to drive anywhere. That is essentially what most of us are currently doing with our lives, driving on some flat road that is paved for us and lined with all sorts of rules, essentially limiting progress within 2 dimensions, forward, backward, or left, right. No. Aladdin Carpets is asking you to use your genie power and fly to your destination. This introduces a 3rd dimension for progress that few consider, up and down. If you have ever been in the cockpit of a plane, then you saw the wide variety of gauges and instruments a pilot has available to them. You also know that in the air, there are no paved roads per se. Pilots need to submit flight plans, and these flight plans present a triangulated start and end point. Air traffic controllers then get to work to ensure travel paths, planned altitudes, and timings align to avoid collisions. In much the same way, you need to define your flight plans, consider your destinations, your way forward to those destinations, and your timelines for arrival. The interesting thing to note is that you are the air traffic controller, or at least your genie is. Am I the only one excited by this fact? We get to fly. We get to be our own genie. I love it. Not to worry, the clarity mentioned earlier will enable you to begin the hard work of establishing goals and forming plans of action towards achieving what you're aiming for. I say hard work because there are no fairy tale magic potions here. This point of the journey is what separates imagination from reality. You can dream it, you can envision it, but achieving it means taking action, actually doing something. Putting your genie in the driver's seat of your life means you are living in a way guided by faith. It means you have truly tapped into your superpower. And in doing so, you have harmonized all the dimensions, mental, physical, spiritual, of you. This alignment puts you at peace and opens you up to guidance from within. The things you will start thinking or saying may frighten yourself or those around you. Clarity of mind will allow you to see patterns and aspects that may not have been as apparent and may not have been in your best interest. In this step, you will look at carpet size and fit, meaning that this is the time where you get real and practical with such things as the people around you. You may start to separate from some people and some messaging that is no longer serving you and where you want to go. You start to exponentially grow to get fit. The change in your outlook and perhaps your behavior may lead you to create different associations because you will need the proximity of like-minded individuals. These changes and developments, along with you starting to act based on your newfound vision, will bring different and new opportunities your way. To elaborate, in my personal journey, once I landed on who I was, what I stood for, and what I wanted for myself based on my gift, aka superpower, things and people began to effortlessly fall into place. As they fell, the patterns of the past disappeared, and I was no longer fighting for doors to open just for them to close once again because of misplaced trust, bad partnering, or what have you. Not only did I finally find my path, but I also was able to focus on and accept the gift that was uniquely mine. However, I still did not know how to use that gift. That is when my genie responded. It grabbed hold of the wheel and took control. The following is the roadmap that guided me to write this book and attain other achievements in under one single year. It all started when I sold a home to a lovely lady that I soon befriended. To some, this was an unconventional friendship, but to me, it simply made sense. I genuinely wanted to meet the new owner of the home, which had held so many memories for me. We would sit and chat for hours. She then later connected me with a real estate organization, which in turn brought me to an online course that introduced me to the concept of streaming and podcasting. I was already somewhat familiar with both mediums, but they never crossed my mind as potential formats for myself. However, it turned out they were a perfect fit. And here I am on season 3 to prove that. This discovery then tapped into my love of writing as I drafted the scripts for each podcast, which then led to the creation of this book. If I had done what was considered normal by not befriending the lady who bought the house, or had not taken any of the opportunities that presented themselves, then none of this would have been possible. This book would not exist. My podcast would never have started. My untapped potential would have remained exactly that, untapped. It is important to understand that every action has a reaction, whether positive or negative, and whether we recognize it or not. We talk about miracles, but the potential exists to actually live a life of miracles. However, this is only achieved through action. Throughout my journey, I chose to do something which at the time seemed unrelated to everything else, but the reaction of my choices led me to where I am now. I chose to meet my new friend. I chose to reach out to the real estate organization. I chose to take part in the course and so on. I then had to do the work to create my podcast and invest the time to understand and start streaming. I had to sit down and write this book. I made choices and did what I needed to do to connect these seemingly unrelated events. The plan of action might have been to work and accumulate X amount of money, buy transportation, quit the current job on such a date, travel on certain days, arrive at the location, get permits, get tools, travel to the dig site every morning, work at the site until evening. etc. You get the point. As for myself, once I knew podcasting was the medium I wanted to do, I got started with figuring out a name, a logo, the platform, the necessary tools to create each episode, a list of topics, and so on. Then, despite my fears, I hit the record button, releasing both a trailer and the first episode soon after. You must do the same process of setting your goals and figuring out the way you will work to achieve each of those goals. If any knowledge is necessary, you will need to decide how you will learn what you need to know. All the above is about you completing the weaving of the carpet, getting comfortable with it by trying it out, and confidently sitting down in preparation for takeoff. With Aladdin carpets, you're not going anywhere unless you take off and fly. The higher, the better. This means determining your way forward by triangulating your flight path. It also means submitting that intent somewhere, getting permission to fly when you need to, and to take off. Those plan of action steps are your stated intent, and the permission is you giving yourself leeway to try doing and being something great. Intentional living. Goodness me, I am so pumped right now. Are you? For you to step out of your way. I repeat, this is a critical point for you to step out of your way. Those plan of action steps will make the goal more likely to happen and are especially motivating when starting to tick them off as completed. So do not just step out of your way, get off your you-know-what, and do the things that will get you the results you planned. At this point, I'm asking you to step on your carpet with a plan and any initial things you have. Settle down and sit and direct your gaze where you wish to go. Essentially, the very cover page of the book. If you have picked the right purpose, motivation will come naturally. However, if you are not feeling motivated, step back and rethink your choice. Rework the earlier chapters if need be. Do what you need to do to get going. You now have everything authentically lined up. I commend you. You are as excited and motivated as I am. I certainly hope you are. But here's something I know, something I need to reinforce at such a pivotal point. This is exactly when fear and self-doubt will peak. Your thoughts start to go crazy, flying through your mind at lightning speed. They will come out so ferociously, they will seem larger than life. Worries about money and time may come to mind. Apprehension of obtaining new knowledge may arise. Fear of the toll that it could cost your family, or of asking for their support in trying to something new. I could go on. Your gut reaction will be to ask someone you hold dear for advice. But if they are not like-minded, don't. Because if they love you, they will try to save you. If they envy you, they may try to sabotage you. If they have limiting beliefs for you, they may try to keep you where you currently are. Who can fathom all the reasons why others intentionally or unintentionally hold us back? What is important is to raise your awareness that this happens, could happen, so you may recognize it. I also want you to understand that this pre-flight stage in your Aladdin carpets journey is truly an obstacle to overcome. This is where so many people inadvertently throw in their towels. Years ago, when I started my consulting business, so many people who were surprised at my conviction to be a consultant sought to discourage me. For sure, I was a young female of color, and few were out there being consultants. Had I listened, I would not have had a prosperous career of over 20 years, met some pretty awesome people, and delivered some amazing projects. Bottom line, they were wrong. Had I listened to those people, I would have been wrong as well. For sure, that career was not my life purpose, but it had its purpose. Now, just like you, I am pivoting. So I know all that it entails and how to curb the fear. Quite simply, you must act despite all those fears and self-inflicted pressure points. You must acknowledge them because they are real concerns, which is why the fear can be so effective in halting us. You must be convicted in the same way my young self and my current self are convicted to achieve success as an author, poet, podcaster, and life advocator strategist. For some pressure points, I actually looked at my action plan to ensure I had them covered, then said, "Thanks for reminding me of that. Now get lost." These things I say to that fearful, self-doubting voice are me swatting each pressure point away like flies. Then I focus and take action to achieve every point on my plan of action. I want you to come to realize that as you start to tick off tasks, the fears and self-doubt abate even more. So the only way you can get rid of the fear is to act against it, is to face it, to step into it with action. Another thing to realize is that when executing each step, things may pop up that require more steps to be added, steps to be taken away, steps to be fine-tuned, or timelines being adjusted. Things will unfold as a result of forward movement. This is all to be expected and quite normal. You are acting. You are doing. Do not get discouraged. Do not self-sabotage. Simply stay focused on what you aim to accomplish and keep moving forward according to the plan with adaptations as needed and warranted. The journey is personalized. And this is you navigating that journey with a precise flight plan. So as you start to take in this chapter, I want you to know the recurring theme in your life, because this is you working on discovering your uniqueness. This is you landing on how best to make your goals work for you in your life. This is you flicking your light switch on. Yeah, lighted being. This is you harmonizing every dimension of yourself. This is you acknowledging just how passionate and driven you can become. And this is you following your action plan and applying continuous improvements along the way. I want you to say, "I know I can fly." I want you to complete your carpet. Step onto your carpet, settle on that carpet, live intentionally, live your best life. I want you to choose you. So in the step into action that follows the chapter, I want you to work through that because you know what you should be doing to achieve purpose and fulfillment in your life. The chapter tells you and guides you in that way. I want you to choose to eliminate "but" and similar words from your mind. Assemble all the words you will no longer be beholden to. But, cannot, failure, I can't. And start to live with them removed from your everyday external and internal dialogues. I want you to proceed despite all the fears you may have. Disempower your fears by acknowledging them. Sometimes you can write them down and verbalize them to bring them squarely into the open and into your awareness. Have conversations with yourself or someone else you trust, and someone who will support you, not someone who will put you down or dissuade you. Someone who will actually be behind you and support you. And then put those fears aside and proceed forward regardless of any enticement or urgings to stop. The power of writing things down cannot be underestimated, because after formalizing your intentions by putting pen to paper, it becomes harder to ignore them, and you become that much more motivated to go after them. That's why we vision. That's why we do vision boards. But this is actually taking a pen and writing them down. Plan your way forward. This is time to plan your way forward based on intentions and your unique gifts, aka your superpowers. Use them. They were given to you. They were God-given. They're divine gifts. Leverage them. That's why you have them. And please commit to your plan and invest in yourself. To be frank, this is part of the journey where most people give up. It is a point where excuses flourish and action rarely taken. You can leave your dream as a dream, or you can start to pull it from your mind and cement it in reality. You need to get beyond this point. You need to become invested in your dream and the possibilities you see and saw for yourself. You need to take action in and amongst yourself for yourself. Ignore naysayers. Close yourself off to those that will stop you from pursuing anything different is vitally important. Close them off. Put boundaries around them. I always find that this point acts like a final test of salvation. Fail it and you are forever living with regrets. Think of Ronald Wayne, the former co-founder of Apple Computer, which is now Apple Inc. If you do not believe me, he walked away from the contract based on advice, and the company is now worth close to $3 trillion, if not more. Imagine what he could be feeling now. It may not be malice or bitterness, but it could very well be regret. You don't want to play in the pool of regret. Dedicate time for yourself, because living purposefully requires you to carve out time for yourself to get things done that will enable you to meet your timelines and check mark your accomplishments. I don't believe in success. I believe in achievements. And then achievement means there's a check mark beside an intention. And that intention has been realized and accomplished. That's what I work against, not against this word of a success. Figure out what your new life schedule looks like as you embark on something meaningful for yourself. This is especially important if you have family commitments related to partners and children. Your new aspirations should ideally work for you and those you love. So openly discuss what you need and strive to get the support required. Find a workable compromise and make ensuing decisions. Listen to the previous podcast of season 3, Decision Making Beast, for your future and overall well-being. Choose to learn what you need to know. Be honest about that. You must be realistic about what you know and supplement with education or hire someone to help for the areas you have gaps. Again, if you have chosen correctly, you will be motivated to get as much information as you can and will become like a sponge, obsessed with absorbing all the knowledge you can. What can I say about this? This is the biggest obstacle to overcome. Second guessing ourselves is a constant that must be managed every step of the way. The more you do, the more progress you make. But the more that small voice in your head nags, the more susceptible you are to the comments and guidance of naysayers and others. It's simply that you are being tested. We will always be tested to ensure that what we put pen to paper and the intentions that we formalize, we really, really, really want it bad. So you get tested. When that happens is when you must push forward with even more conviction and follow your gut. So please do not trip over your own feet and off your carpet. Sit and focus on your action steps one at a time. Notice I have not asked for you to walk on your carpet except to initially get on it. Sit, trust, and do. And then at that point, you are ready to take off. And as I always wrap up with, if you need help with that, you know where to find me in the description. And that ends chapter 3. Thank you for listening. Thank you for listening to this episode of Arrays of Living. And please be sure to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube. You will also find in the description below my email address should you want to reach out, and I am happy if you do. And just to be sure, it's Jenn at youareworthmore.co, and worth more you definitely are. And lastly, also see the link that will allow you to schedule a meet and greet with me. And that's an opportunity for me to meet you and you to meet me and for us to have a chat. And that would be wonderful and welcoming. So please hit the link and let's set up a meet and greet.